What's up, guys? So I get a lot of questions about $400 old flagships and just $400 phones in general here. So we got mostly old flagships except for the S24. Don't really count that as an old flagship yet. I want to talk about the pros and cons of these phones. These are some of my favorite phones. These are 5 phones that you really can't go wrong with: the S23 Plus, the S22 Ultra, the 13 Pro Max, the S24, and the Pixel 8 Pro. Be sure to comment down below if you guys have any of these phones, or which phone would you pick up. And I do want to talk about the pros and cons of each device. So I picked all of these up, use Refurbished Marketplace. I do want to talk about hardware here. So the most comfortable phones are going to be, obviously the smallest phone here, the S24. So if you are someone smaller hands, or you just don't like the big phones, this is such an excellent phone to pick up. And also the S23 Plus as well. It's not that much bigger than the S24, and it's still pretty comfortable to hold as well. And I guess the most uncomfortable phone, so for people with smaller hands, it would be the S22 Ultra. It is not very comfortable at all. It's very sharp. It's very a boxy phone. And yeah, you might kind of struggle using this phone. But the S22 Ultra does have one hardware benefit, and that is it does have the built-in S Pen. And Samsung got rid of the Bluetooth capability with the S25 this year. So these old Samsung flagships are even more useful and unique now because it has that Bluetooth capability. So you can take photos and videos from a distance. You can also use the button to skip songs and stuff like that. So it is very useful. You can do real digital artwork with the pen as well. So it does have that one hardware benefit. But besides that, I think they're all pretty comfortable phones to hold, except for the S22 Ultra. But yeah, that's where I am with the hardware. All IP68 dust and water resistant, and overall they look really great still hardware wise. So I do want to talk about the displays here. So let's talk about the displays here. So as far as displays go, they all have pretty good displays. I don't really have an issue with the panels here. I still think the Galaxy phones have the best display. The good thing about the S22 being a boxy phone is I think it has the best looking display. I do like the overall boxy design here. I guess the iPhone is a little bit dated here with this notch here, but it's still a very nice display. I would buy the iPhone 13 Pro Max over an iPhone 16e that we saw on the channel any day. I think this older iPhone is aging extremely well. You got the 120 hertz on here. For all you people who really love iPhones, then this would be my go-to phone. I would actually get this over a iPhone 14 even, because you can play PUBG at 120 frames. So there's a lot of benefits to having that 120 hertz display. So definitely take that into consideration. But displays, the Samsung panels always impress me. They look really good. They have the really nice colors. The Pixel display looks great too, but I just really like the quality of the Samsung panel. So I would say for all my display people, you can just pretty much pick S23 Plus, 22, 24. They look really good. All these displays do great in outdoors as well, so you don't really have a major issue with outdoor visibility. I think the iPhone might be the weakest link here in direct sunlight. But yeah, as far as displays, I mean, they all look really good. Now, one thing that you might not like about the S22 Ultra, it does have a curved panel. So a lot of people don't like the curved screens, so that's just something to know. If you don't, then you would just pick up an S23 Plus for sure. But yeah, as far as the panels go, all of these screens look really good, so I don't really have an issue with the displays here. For all my software people, the best phones to pick up for people who are really love software updates, it's going to be the S24 and the Pixel. The Pixel 8 Pro and the S24, they have extended software support. So we're talking around 7 years of updates. So these phones will get updates for a really long time. And unfortunately, they did not bring that down to the older models yet. I think there's still potential that they could do it, because if you guys remember earlier, I think last year, Google gave extended support to the Pixel 7 Pro, 6 Pro even. So I think Samsung could possibly do that with the S22 and the S23 Plus, but for right now, these are still on a 4-year pledge from when they first launched. So again, you have longer software support with these two phones. The iPhone, I believe, is 6 years from when it launched, so it's still not going to be better than these two phones. So for people who just want to know what's going on with the latest, software and stuff like that, you definitely are going to be looking at an S24 series phone or a Pixel phone. When we talk about software here, the good thing here is that we actually get AI on all of these phones except for the iPhone, unfortunately. So we do not have Apple Intelligence with these older iPhones, which is, it kind of sucks. You don't even really have them with the newer iPhones. I think it's just like the 15, is it the 15 Pro? Yeah, I think that's the oldest models. The base models don't get any of the AI stuff. So I think you gotta have like a 15 Pro to even get it. I don't think the 14 Pro gets it either. So, that's unfortunate. But yeah, if you are into the AI stuff, you do have it even on the S22 Plus here. You have the Galaxy AI features on here, which is really cool. So you get to enjoy the stuff on here. I don't really find the AI stuff to be useful, honestly. I never really use it, but you might find it useful, like the live translation notices, stuff like that. It's really cool. So definitely take that into consideration. All right, guys, I do want to briefly touch on, gaming. So the best phones for gaming is pretty much going to be the S23 Plus, the S24, and these are my two favorite phones for gaming. The iPhone is fine. Like I said, if you really like iPhones, I would pick this up over any other $400 iPhone. So that would be the iPhone 14 or a higher gigabyte iPhone 13. This just makes more sense. You can actually play PUBG at 120 frames on here. So this is a really great phone for gaming. The reason why I wouldn't say the S22 Ultra is longer periods of gaming, it can get a little bit warm, and then we also are limited to 90 frames on PUBG now. So it's still a pretty decent gaming device, but like I said, it can heat up a little bit. But the S23 Plus, it could play at 120 frames, and we're not getting those kind of heating problems. It's the same thing for the S24. It's able to play at 120 frames. It's very efficient, extremely efficient. The Pixel is actually has never. I don't think there's any Pixel that can play PUBG at least 90 frames. Unfortunately, the Tensor chips they're not optimized for gaming like that. So they're not really geared towards gaming. So I wish that Google would pay attention more to that, because there are a lot of people, I'm assuming, on Pixels that do want to do competitive gaming. But right now, I can't really recommend it because, you're just not going to get those frame rates across the board. And the overall Tensor chips are usually just a little bit underpowered compared to everybody else. So if I pull up these 3D Mark scores here on Wildlife Extreme, you guys can see 22, 12. Let's see what the iPhone is. We got 13.9. So the S24, 24, and then the Pixel would be. I never ran a 3D Mark on here. I gotta run it on here. But again, you guys basically get the gist. It's not going to be, as good. Here's the Geekbench 6 scores for you guys, so you guys can have kind of like a reference point here. But just know, like I said, with gaming and performance, all of these phones do a pretty good job with performance. It's just when it comes to gaming, the Pixel is not going to do as well. The S22 Ultra is not going to do as well for competitive gaming. Regular gaming, these two phones are perfectly fine. So you can play regular games. You're just going to be playing at 60, 90 frames. Also, there is something that I do want to mention here, and that is going to be the cameras. I want to touch on this briefly. If you guys want to see side-to-side stills of certain phones, just type it Matthews Tech, whatever phone you want to see. I have a ton of comparisons on all these phones. And I personally prefer Pixel photos for the cameras. It's just, it's my preferred, camera to take pictures with, guys. It just looks really good. I like the image quality, and I also film all of my shorts with Pixel phones as well too. So right now I'm filming them with the Pixel 9, but before that I was filming all of them with the Pixel 8 Pro when it came out. I really like the photos. I really like how skin tones come out. I'm just a big fan of the Pixel shots. Low light photography looks great. This is my personal favorite. So this is a phone that I would actually buy for just straight up image quality. I like it way more than the iPhone and the Galaxy phones. So that is my personal, favorite. But I would say people who like to do like zoom photography and stuff like that, you would pretty much easily get the S22 Ultra. It has that 10 times telephoto lens, so you get some really great shots at 10 times and 30 times. It'll take some amazing photos. The S23, like I said, all these phones do a great job. I think the iPhone takes really good video as well. I think most people would probably prefer the video of the 13 Pro Max. So if you're somebody who's kind of like into content creation, you could, you know, buy this phone, and it's going to take pretty good video, and it also takes really great photos as well too. I don't have an issue. It is going to lack in the zoom department for sure, but I don't have an issue with the cameras on here. I think it's aging pretty well. But yeah, so a lot of people like the iPhones for content creation. They're very well optimized as well too, so that's another big thing. Very well optimized with like Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and stuff like that. So it's just a really good phone for that. But yeah, guys, as far as photos, like I said, my personal favorite would be the Pixel 8 Pro, and to me the S24 and the S23 Plus kind of take extremely similar shots. So you can't really tell too much of a difference with these two phones. So that's what I said. But yeah, overall, all these phones are going to do great in the camera department. Got all these speakers at max volume. Let's try to see if we could spot the difference with the speakers. We'll start with the S23 Plus. So I think my favorite speakers would probably be the S24. Sounds like the best speaker here, honestly. It's the best balanced speaker, and it's the cleanest sounding. I really like the Pixel 8 speaker, and the 13 Pro Max speaker is pretty good as well. So is the S23 Plus. I actually think all of these speakers are pretty good besides the S22 Ultra. It sounds just completely flat. It's probably my least favorite thing about this phone. It just lacks so much in the bass department. It just sounds flat, yeah. I'm sure you could tune this thing to make it sound a little bit better, but I don't think, you know, most people are probably not, you know, gonna do that. So that's why I have it. I just left it how it is when it comes out the box. But yeah, so overall the speakers are great on here, but the S24 has a very impressive speaker. It's extremely clean and well balanced sounding speaker. Alright, as far as battery life goes, it's going to be easily the S23 Plus and the S24 easy. These phones do an excellent job in terms of screen on time, and standby time is awesome on both of these phones. And I would say next would be the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This phone does really good with standby time as well too. And let's check out the battery. My battery health on here is what, 87%. Yeah, so even at 87%, this phone does a really good job. The S22 Ultra is decent, but it's not really for heavy use. It does an okay job, but if you're a heavier, you know, smartphone user, this phone is not going to be the best option. And it's the same thing for the Pixel. They're kind of on the same par. The Pixel's battery life is a little bit better than the S22 Ultras, honestly. But again, I wish the standby time was a little bit better. But I would say the best battery life phones, if you're concerned with battery life, it would be the S23 Plus, S24. So overall, yeah, that's my quick little wrap up, guys, for these phones. You can't go wrong with any of these phones, guys. These are amazing picks. Check them out. Check out the full videos on these phones. Check out the comparisons. And, you know, just, you know, look at all of the phones and see which one you like.